welcome to the Miller Life Kitchen. I had leftover ham. I bet you did too. You know what I'm going to be doing today? Canning it up. So I took all of the meat off the bone. This was a spiral ham. And then I did broth. About 5 hours in a pot. I put the bone and let it simmer. Simmered in water for about 5 hours. Took the fat off this morning. And I'm ready to go. Here's all my supplies. I'm using pint jars. And what I have is the spiral ham, and then I cut it up, and you can see that it's pretty fine slices. This is not a USDA approved method of canning. However, I feel comfortable enough doing it because I'm using the ham broth that I made, and then I'm also using very small pieces of ham. I'm loosely packing in pint jars my meat, and then I'm going to be filling with the broth that I made from the bone up to 1 inch of head space. The ham is about room temperature because I got it out while I was getting everything ready, and I did warm up the broth again after I strained it, as you saw in the beginning. Now I'm using a chopstick to debubble, very important. However, I could not find my actual debubbler. Sometimes when other people put the dishes away, God knows what happens to things, but a chopstick will work fine too. You just don't want to use anything metal. Once I'm debubbled, I use vinegar on my rims because ham broth does have a little bit of oil in it from, you know, the fatty areas from the broth. So I did put vinegar on my paper towel, wipe my rim real well, and I do it, as you saw, really, really good because I want to make sure I don't have any siphoning or that my lid does not seal. I am not adding any seasoning whatsoever, and even when I made the broth, all I added was celery, and that's it. I didn't add any salt, nothing. I figure, you know what, depending what I use this ham in, the ham is salty to begin with, but I don't want to have any extra seasonings. Putting my lid on, and I'm going to make sure that it's only fingertip tight. Don't crank them down, or you will get maybe some buckling, or they just won't seal properly because they're a little bit too tight. You need to have that airflow through there so it can vacuum seal down the jar, basically. That's what's happening. It's removing all the air from the jar. You'll see here I had some broth left over, so I did that in quarts. I'm using my little Presto. I ended up with having 5 pints of ham, 2 quarts of broth, and then you'll see in the background I had a little bit extra broth, so I put it in a pint jar and threw some beans in there. They were not pre-soaked, by the way. Here I have the lid loosened, and this is my final product. I got these guys out of the canner. You can see they're bubbling really nicely. I had 0 siphoning, and the head space even the next day is perfect. I think the big thing about that is following the steps correctly, but also when you saw the loosened canning lid, I leave it like that for about a good 10-15 minutes, kind of get the acclimation of temperature. It's cold again here in Pennsylvania. We actually had snow on Easter, so I have no idea what that's about. But my house was a little bit chilly, so I made sure I did a really slow cool down and jar removal from the canner. These are looking beautiful. And how about that canning quilt? A friend of mine, Jenny, made that for me. It is gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. If you ever have time, check out her channel and look at her quilts. Jenny's Scratch Made Kitchen. Here's the next day. Headspace is perfect. Thank you for joining me today, and if you like what you saw here today, please like and subscribe if you'd like to see more. See you next time at the Miller Life Kitchen.